All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking New Orleans Saints rookie offensive lineman Kelvin Banks Jr. in his regular season NFL debut. This young tackle really showed why the Saints were right to select him in the first round. He is an outstanding tackle already and a very complete football player. We'll break down everything he did so well. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help us to do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with the running play, and there is Banks right there, of course, at left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. So we're going to get an inside zone concept here for the New Orleans Saints. We're going to get the left tackle Banks working out this direction. We're going to get the left guard base reaching with the center coming over with the little zone double team action working up to the next level. We're going to get a scoop technique here, all the way working up to the next level. Kamara's going to take this track right here, looking for a hole to cut back, and you can see it's most likely going to be here, but he could also press it wide wherever he finds an opportunity to run the football. I want you guys to look at 71 right here, the rookie Banks. He does a good job, but I like his finish. Gets a little bit of help pushing his guy over the pile, but it still counts as a pancake, I guess technically. I like the finish. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. There's his own concept. Kamara gets north and south. Good hard run, productive play. All right, let's look at 71 right here at left tackle. Working out to the defensive end, edge player, good strike, runs his feet, finishes, puts him on his back. Now, in total defense right here, you can see this defensive end. He kind of gets tripped up over his own defender. You can see, I think, 77 right here. He's the guy that actually gets the real pancake, if I'm being totally honest, even though he kind of trips over Banks too. So you get a lot of, body-on-body action right there. But still, I like the finish from Banks. Working his feet, driving your feet, trying to finish. Not a perfect day in the run blocking department for Banks. A lot of things to work on in that specific area. But I think the one thing that I like is that he's always trying to run his feet and always trying to finish. That's something you can't coach. That's something you can't teach. You can teach better technique. You can teach better angles. You can teach better hand placement. You can't teach 1-2. You can't teach competitiveness, and Banks has it in the run blocking game. All right, for the wide copy, you can see Banks right there at the bottom of your screen. He's going to work out to this edge defender, shocks him, runs his feet, and finishes him in the ground. Again, I love the finish. I love the effort. I love the want to. Like I said before, that's things you can't coach, right? I can coach him, or the Saints offensive line, if you're being more accurate, the Saints offensive line coaches, they can coach him, the offensive coordinators, they can teach him better schemes and strategy. He could work with an offensive tackle guru to fix footwork, but you can't fix want to. You can't fix, I want to run my feet and compete to the end of the whistle, and that's what Banks has. He's a really good pass blocker, and we'll break down everything he does well there, and he's pretty good in the run blocking game too, although he needs to get more consistent. But I wanted to lead this cut up here, this film review, talking about his finish and his 1-2, because I think that's a key part of what he brings to the Saints offense as they look towards the future. All right, let's get into some pass protection now, and there's Banks, of course, at left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. So you can see the Arizona Cardinals, they have what's called an odd front. They got 5 guys, right? Odd, 5's an odd number, right? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5 all the way over there, and they got a linebacker in the middle. And guess what? They end up rushing a lot of guys. They end up bringing this guy off the edge, this defensive tackle here, this defensive tackle here, this defensive lineman here, and they end up firing this linebacker for Kamara to pick up right there. This defensive end kind of hangs out in space here. I can't tell if he's picking up 83 or if he just gets caught blocking. But regardless, it's going to be one-on-one right here. Let me clean up the picture for you guys. One-on-one Banks on this defensive end with a chance to rush the passer. Defensive ends, of course, live for this opportunity, but Banks with great technique shuts him down. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Quarterback has a little time, runs out of it, is able to complete the football for a nice gain. Not great pass protection from 41 right there, guys. Oh, boy. Good thing he's, really good at football in terms of running it and catching it, right? A little bit of forgiveness there, but boy, Spencer Rattler, way to hang in there. Nice ball. But let's look at Banks here. Let's talk about patience. Patience. Love that. One shove at the end, put him in the ground. This is so good, guys. It's so hard to be this patient, this calm. Wait for your moment to strike and then strike. This is just ideal left tackle play. Some tackles, they get a little antsy, especially young guys. They want to get out there and cover up all this grass. They see all this green grass right here, and they're like, oh, there's too much space there. I'm going to go out there and kind of close the gap as fast as possible. Banks, he trusts his athleticism. This is why you draft guys that played in the SEC, by the way. They played against very athletic defenses, pro-style defensive ends, pro-style coaching staff at Texas for Banks. You can see it right here. I mean, this is so well coached. Patient, turns the corner at the right time. Again, he waits till the last possible second to turn his shoulders. Once the defensive end commits, then he turns his shoulders and puts him in the ground. Nice rep from the rookie.
Yeah, Nick, we're talking week 1 of the season here, so there's only so much stock we can put into it, but the stock we have for Banks is really good. Actually graded out top 20 of all tackles in the NFL. He was 17th. When we look at rookies, he was top 2, and there's a little bit differential between him and the guy that was ahead of him that we'll get into a little bit later, but Banks graded out really, really well amongst all tackles. He's looking very good for the Saints.
All right, going back to the running game, there's Banks, of course, there at left tackle. We're going to get an inside zone concept from the Saints working this direction right here. So we're going to get a base block there by the tackle working out, the tight end flashing, then working up to the safety. We're going to get a scoop cutoff block there on the backside. We'll get the center working up to the next level. And the running back, he's just going to look for an opportunity to run wherever he finds green grass. You can see most likely it's going to be right here, maybe bouncing it, but you can see he's probably going to hit this hash when it's all said and done. Now, Banks here on the backside, he's got an interesting responsibility. So he's got a scoop technique. He's trying to cut off whoever's going to be the backside defender flowing over the top. It could be this defensive end. It could be this linebacker. And Banks does a really good job recognizing, reacting, and he actually blocks both guys. He does his job. Unfortunately, the rest of the Saints offensive line does not do their job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. There's the inside run. Nowhere for 41 to go. Gets bottled up. Limited run. All right, let's look at Banks on the backside here. So again, he does a little zone step, secures the backside, works up to the next level, and gets his hat on the backside flow player. That's really good. He basically blocks two guys here. Now, I don't know if this technique was taught in this approach here. Maybe he was taught. I kind of think he was as a game plan to kind of hang out here and hold this defensive end and linebacker, give the time for the running back the play to develop because it is on a shotgun before working up to the next level. A lot of times you really see these tackles fly to get up the field quickly on the backside. Not here with Banks. I think that was probably a game plan adjustment by the New Orleans Saints. But if you look at the play side here, if they do a halfway decent job at the point of attack, right here, if I can freeze this, they've got this all blocked. They're up to the next level. This is just such a disaster here that there's nowhere for the running back to go. If they do a decent cutoff right here, and Kamara, he's trying to squeeze through. If he could have gotten through here and is able to get up to here, they got a hat on a hat, one-on-one with the safety, and I think Kamara is able to cut back behind 71 or cut back around 78, and he's off to the races. Blocking at the point of attack between 51 and 77, not good, and it causes his play to die, right, if we're being totally honest. But Banks, really good job, recognizing and reacting. See how he's slow and getting his patience. Right there, he's holding on the backside, holding on the backside. The moment he sees, okay, the linebacker's on the full flow player, I'm going to go over the top and cut him off. And again, I love the angle he takes, right? He doesn't go to where he is. He goes to where he's going to get his head on the right side. See how his head is on the right side of this flow player? That's where Kamara would be on this side, the right side of Banks. A lot of offensive line play, as I always like to say, is putting your body, your helmet in between the ball carrier and the defensive player. Banks does a good job of it right there. Now from the wide copy, you can see Banks hold that defensive end down, work up to the next level, and cut off number two. There's a chance there for this to be a really big play. I mean, if we freeze it right here, I mean, they've got, look at this, creasing outside, following this block, or one-on-one with the safety for a huge play. At the very least, it should have been a lot more successful than what it was. Right here, your two guards just got blown up. Can't happen, guys. I mean, this is how you lose games. When you're in a light box against an Arizona Cardinals defense and your tackles and your tight ends do a good job and you can't get any movement right here. The center does a good job working up to the next level and you can't get any movement and you get obliterated by your guards. This is how you lose games, guys. And this is something the Saints have to pick up and improve on going forward. But right here, the rookie Banks, he does a nice job. All right, going back to some more pass protection, there's Banks, of course, at left tackle going the other direction. Listen, he's going to be man-on-man, mano-a-mano on this defensive end right here, and he locks him down. He is such a good pass protector. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Quarterback, a little bit of time, tries to hit the check down, minimal play to Olave. All right, let's look at Banks here at left tackle. Again, patient, strikes, gets his hands on him, and just locks him up. He reminds me a lot of Tyron Smith, the longtime Dallas Cowboy tackle, where his grips are so strong. He's got longer arms than Smith, and he's a really good athlete. But once he gets his hooks on you, it's over, right? Banks is a really strong inside grip guy. I bet he was taught that at Texas. And, of course, he's a very naturally gifted football player as well. But this is so good. Patient right there the entire way. You see how he doesn't overset? Right here, this defensive end, he probably thinks he may end up getting an inside move eventually, but Banks does such a good job. He never gives up the inside, and when the defensive lineman goes into him, he immediately anchors down right there, gets his butt, back, hips all in a good position, and just completely negates him. This is really good. And compare him to the rest of the offensive line, right? And 75 is not a bad football player. He gets run through a little bit there, a little pressure on the quarterback. 75 was a first-round pick last year. Interior-wise, okay, not great, right? All things considered, they did a good job picking up the stunt, the blitz there. So I guess give some credit there with the interior three. But Banks, when it comes to pass protection, he's at a whole nother level. Great start to his career.
Yeah, Nick, and we talked about Banks' great pass protection grade, pass blocking 74.4 grade for this game. And I talked about him ranking amongst rookies. I think it's really impressive he's as high as he is because if you look at the guy that was in first place, we're talking about Armand Membu, good player, but he only had 26 pass blocking reps. Banks got, kind of fed to the wolves a little bit and did a really good job. where 53 of his 75 offensive snaps were in pass blocking situations. So really a lot, tougher task for Banks, but he did a really good job. Strong pass blocking prowess for Banks here for the Saints.
All right, going back to the running game, got kind of a fun play here for the New Orleans Saints. So they're going to send Kamara in motion pre-snap, and it's going to be a handoff this direction to number 5. But what the Saints do is they pull the backside guard and the backside tackle to lead the way through the hole just like this. On the play side, they have the tight end kicking out. They got a double team right here, the center blocking back, and a double team right here, working up to the next level with all these guys pulling and all these guys leading their way through. Again, it's a very interesting play. I like the creativity. Kellen Moore, he comes up with some good schemes, of course, did a lot of good things in his time at Philadelphia. But let's watch Banks on this double team. Gets movement into the defense and then works up to the next level. Good, fundamentally sound double team here. Again, a lot of times tackles aren't good at this. Banks is. Let's check it out. All right, there's a motion. There's a snap. There's the polars, number 5, north and south. Nice run for the New Orleans Saints. All right, let's look at Banks here. Big number 71 at left tackle. Right, working to his gap. Give a little help there. Look at that shock. You're talking about dislocating the defense. Look at that hip. See how he keeps everything square, but still shocks this defensive lineman? Completely dislocates him. Now, I don't think this defensive tackle is making the play anyway, but I guarantee you after this double team right here, he ain't even coming close and opens up that cutback lane. There's a decent chance if this is a weak double team or a no double team here, that 91, I think that's 91 for Arizona, is able to work over the top and maybe stop number 5 before it can be a bigger play. Instead, Banks delivers a shot, works up to the next level, gets a hat on a hat. Again, his head's in the right spot. Right here, number 5, the running back, he's cutting to avoid the safety there, so he kind of runs into Banks' guy. But Banks, he understands by play design, the play is going to go to the hash or left of the hash. Number 5 has to cut back based on what the defense does. He does a really good job here. Again, good double team, good movement, good job working up to the next level. All right, for the wide copy, you can see Banks. Look at this double team movement on contact. Boom, dislocation, and all the way up to the next level. Look at that, 10 yards downfield. Love to see that from an offensive lineman. Good athlete, right? Look at what the snap is. What, at the 46? Gets movement on the double team, and then works all the way up to what, the opposite 45. So we're talking about 9 yards of working downfield after double team, giving him some good help to your buddy right there. I guarantee you, his offensive guard, his left guard, his teammate, they love this. There's nothing worse than being a base block right here and expecting some double team help and not getting it, being like totally hung out to dry. It happens a lot. Banks, good teammate, delivers a shock right there, and then works up to the next level. I guarantee you there'll be opportunities for the Saints the rest of the season where they'll pop some really long runs, because we showed one earlier today where there was a chance. This one was really, really close to. The safety, Buda Baker, did a good job filling. I think right here, if number 5, and I'm not blaming him too much because this is a tough situation, but there's going to be chances for him to kind of wiggle out of this in the future and turn this into a really big play, or maybe make the safety miss in the hole and then get north and south and follow Banks for a monster play. Regardless, this is still a good run here for the New Orleans Saints, and a really nice job by the rookie. All right, quick break in the film review. Look, I was taught to break down film by my college coaches at the Division I level. All the players are. It's just a fact of playing football at that level. And I want to take this opportunity to give you guys, the average fan, more opportunities to get that insider knowledge of how the game is taught at that highest level of college football. I created a checklist, a step-by-step guide for you guys, 100% free. That's based on how I was taught to break down film by my coaches, and then I use today to create these film reviews. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you right to it. I really appreciate it if you guys decide to get it. Again, 100% free, just trying to share information to you guys, stuff that was taught to me by my coaches. But without further ado, let's get back into the film. All right, going back to some pass protection, there's Banks, of course, at left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. Listen, he's one-on-one. He's on an island right here. This defensive end, he's got a lot of green grass to work with. The Arizona Cardinals, they drew this up. They said, listen, dude, you've got the rookie tackle all by yourself. We've got a 2-eye on the inside eye of the guard right here. His job is he's going to occupy these 2 guys. So even if it's a man-on-man scheme where the guard comes over, that means Banks is by himself. And if it's a gap scheme and this guard right here is taking over this gap, that's his area, he's still got to be strong, heavy hand inside right here on this 2-eye technique. So either way, Banks is on an island. This is drawn up by the defense to create this one-on-one opportunity. But guess what, guys? Banks wins once again. He is really darn good at this. Let's check it out. There's a motion. Receiver's going to work back out. There's a snap. Banks locks him down, runs him upfield. Incomplete pass. This is so good by Banks. Oh, my goodness gracious. Look at patient. A little hands to the face. Look, it's going to happen, right? I mean, you don't like it. Sometimes that'll get called. I love the punch. I love the control. You see how his body is never extended until the absolute latest moment, running his guy up the field. This is the difference between him and 75, who I think is a pretty good player. 75 gets his helmet on people, his pads on people, and people are able to work through him on the inside a little bit. With Banks, he's so good at forcing defenders to run around the hoop just like that, get nowhere near the quarterback. He's just a natural left tackle, right? There are guys that just get it. There are guys that are just naturally good at it, and this New Orleans Saints rookie is one of those guys.
Yeah, Nick, and I think this been the prime of Banks this whole game is not allowing pressures. He's really keeping the quarterback safe, giving Rattler some time to throw the ball. Only two pressures really allowed this entire game. No sacks allowed, no quarterback hits allowed from Banks. Really keeping the pocket clean, keeping the quarterback clean. Really great stuff from Banks here in pass protection.
All right, let's end on one more pass protection. There's Banks, of course, at left tackle. And you can see the Arizona Cardinals, they got one, two, three guys head up or outside of the rookie left tackle. They're trying to confuse him, trying to create some chaos. Now, normally when teams are lined up like this, you have this inside guy go really far inside to like pull the guard and pull the center, and then they have these two guys do some kind of a stunt. Normally what happens is they have this guy go inside too, he goes outside, or they have this defensive end go outside and this guy loops around like here when this defensive tackle go in this direction. This is normally what happens. Arizona Cardinals take a different approach, right? What they end up having is both these guys do kind of standard pass rushes here, and they have this linebacker go all the way around. So the goal here for the Arizona Cardinals was to create chaos in the mind of number 71, but really it's a traditional pass rush. But guess what? The rookie's so patient, he's so gifted, he gets it done anyway. Let's check it out. There's a snap. You can see the stunt, picked up. Quarterback ends up getting sacked by the backside pass rush. That's not great. But the left side, Banks, they do their job. Look at 71 right here. Again, patient. Lets the defensive lineman come to him. Great punch. I love how he uses his outside hand, right? Look at this. He basically is stopping both guys, right? This is awesome. Now, I don't necessarily love having your inside hand caught up in another defensive player. I think problems can happen. But this is really incredible. He's got a two-handed punch right there on both defenders. That's pretty awesome. Then keeps moving his feet, keeps running his feet. His footwork and how he runs his feet and just moves in pass protection and the run game is otherworldly. It doesn't look incredibly impressive, but it's so good. See how he runs this defensive end around the hoop, and this defensive end has nowhere to go but eventually down, right? Just because it runs out of gas, right? Just basically runs him off the track. Really good natural instincts, really good natural pass blocker. Look, I know the New Orleans Saints have some question marks at quarterback and a few other positions, but I tell you what, Saints fans, you've got your future left tackle here in Banks for a very long time. I don't just think he's a quality left tackle. I think he's a future All-Pro. He is that kind of talent for New Orleans.